Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilor Olson?
Here.
Ridge?
Here.
Bender?
Here.
Stenberg? Here. McDonald? Here. Doyle?
Here.
Kinsley?
Here.
Herrick?
Here.
McKenzie?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Safer?
Here. It gives me great pleasure to recognize and honor our 4th of July committee here tonight. And we have a number of the members here. I'd like to read the certificate of appreciation, and Mary Morgan would assist me in handing out the certificates. The 4th of July committee has been in existence. I believe this is their 14th or 15th year. And every year it just gets better and better. The parade this year was huge. The attendance was marvelous and also large, even in spite of a long weekend when you would expect many people to be out of town for the weekend. I'm going to guesstimate we had 6,000 or 7,000 people watching that parade, plus the car show that took place downtown, the fireworks at the fairgrounds. I don't know how many thousands of people were there, but I did hear it took a while to get out of there, no matter where you were parked. And we've already had some light discussion with the committee for next year. We did provide a band before the fireworks at the fairgrounds, which was well received. And we're talking about having other events in conjunction next year that would fill in the day between the parade, the car show, the band, and the fireworks at the fairgrounds, with some vendors out there, and possibly having a couple variety of bands on Tower Avenue with vendors during the car show. So keep the activity going and have the enjoyment continue. The certificate of appreciation presented to each member of the 4th of July committee. Mayor Bruce Hagan and the Superior City Council are deeply grateful for your community service. Since 1997, you have generously given of your time, your energy, and talent to ensure that the citizens of Superior enjoy a spectacular 4th of July celebration in the city of Superior. Thank you for your hard work and commitment to this effort. Signed the 2nd day of August, 2011. First, Chairman Standard.
You need to stand closer. First, if you could stand closer to the mic.
Dave, we want to thank you for your extremely dedicated hard work, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor.
Now for the better half of the family, Fran Standard. Oh, I didn't mean that, Dave.
I'm the noisy one.
Thank you, Fran. Fran said she's the noisy one. Dan O'Neill. Dan O'Neill. Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
We appreciate it. We're glad the city's getting back.
Councilor Stein. Ed served on the city council for many years and continues to serve the city in a lot of volunteer capacities. Thank you so
sir.
much. Thank you.
Mayor.
Bob Corey. Bob, once again, served the city in many capacities and continues to do so. I see Ed and Bob at our frequent dining place all the
yeah,
time.
thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Dennis Van Alstyne. Dennis has put forth considerable effort, dedication, in growing the car show every year on Tower Avenue. And I believe, Dennis, this year was the largest number of vehicles there? Okay. Thanks again. We'll look forward to next year. Kim Pope. Thanks, Kim, for your participation and dedication to the event. Judy Arnett. Judy, thank you so much for all your work. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We try to have a superior fourth.
There you go. Neil Longren. Is Neil here? Neil, thank you so much for all the work you do. Thank you. I'm sorry, Gene. I'm looking at the wrong.
Thank you. Thank you much.
Now, Gene Longren.
Now it's now.
I have it backwards, sorry.
I have dyslexia. Thank you very much. Gail Carlson. Is Gail? Let's see, Gail.
Mayor,
Yes.
this road washed out.
Oh, that's,
You won't be in.
okay. Could you pass it on to her for us? Carolyn Schultz. Is Carolyn here? Nope. Marvin Swanger.
I'm also on the rodeo committee too.
Thank you. Pardon me.
I'm also on the rodeo committee.
The rodeo committee too.
I don't
You're a
stop.
busy guy. You're a busy guy. Jason Holmes. Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your help.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Carolyn Schultz. Is Carolyn here?
Her road's washed out.
Flooding, her road's wrong.
Another road washed out. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to working with you, continuing for the next year, and we'll be happy to help in any way we can. I also would be remiss if I didn't thank Mary. She's really put her heart and soul into this event as well as many others in the community, and I want to thank you too, Mary. Thank you.
Mary, I forgot one here, so I'll
Sonia's not on our listing, but we will make sure that she gets a certificate as well. My apologies.
supposed to be on there.
We apologize. Thank you so much. I'll ask for consideration of approval of the minutes from July 19th council meeting. Heard the motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 6 is a consent agenda, and there was an addition handed out, a referral to the Human Resource Committee.
Approval of the amended consent agenda.
You've heard the motion, second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 8.1, Mayor Hagan is submitting the projected 2012 to 2017 capital improvement program budget.
For quite a while now, we've been working on the capital improvement budget, capital improvement project budget, and the contents of which, in much discussion, we decided to extend the program out from a 3-year capital plan to a 6-year, so you as a council, the people of Superior, and all of us can envision out further what major projects and purchases would want to be addressed. We're going to do a little presentation on that here tonight, and what we'll be asking for is your consideration specifically for 2012. If there's further discussion, we can bring that up at another meeting or refer it back. You'll see that we believe it's very comprehensive. It addresses some of the issues that we've all been talking about. One in particular is our streets and infrastructure. We also discussed at points in time about changing the procedural methods for retiring our debt. We were at a 10-year debt retirement obligation of amortization of the debt. We chose to pull out the 1.2, if you will, million of the terminal tax to put it forward toward development and infrastructure. This does not change anything with regard to the debt other than extending it out to generally a normal, what's considered a normal general obligation debt period of 16 years or so. But what it does do is reinvest in our assets in the community. In conference calls with Standard & Poor, Gene, our council, they see that as an investment in our assets also, and thought it was a good measure and move in this economy, and in the view of the fact that not too many people in this world are paying down their debt quicker than not. So what I'd like to do is invite Chris Bronson and Dan Zukowski up. We're going to do a little PowerPoint for your viewing pleasure, as well as I think we have hard copies at the table for the council. And then we would ask that you stop us at any time to ask questions, infuse some comments and clarification. Gentlemen?
So let things warm up here for a second. Hit some lights or anything, or everybody see all right? Okay, guess good evening, councilors. It's a pleasure being here tonight to give you a short presentation on the proposed 2012 through 2017 capital improvement program budget. Dan and I have put together what we hope to be a 10-minute summary presentation of the 6-year, $31 million capital improvement budget. Something our administration, department heads, and supervisors have been working on over the past several months. Some of this might be repetitive to what you've already heard, but I'll briefly go over the definition and purpose of the 6-year capital improvement plan, and briefly talk about the CIP development timeline, how that was established, and then kind of hand the exciting part of the presentation, the numbers. I'll hand that over to Dan, and he'll talk about the sources of funds, uses of funds. We'll get into the top 13 projects, 13 of the 62 projects that make up over 90% of the capital budget. And we'll open it up, or we'll talk about briefly talk about cash flow, and then open it up for questions at the end. And like the mayor said, if you have questions, stop me at any time, and we can try to answer them. Most likely, we'll defer to department heads to answer specific questions. Let's see. Definition: what is a capital improvement program? It's basically a blueprint for planning a community's large capital expenditures. It coordinates basically 3 phases of community planning, financial capacity, and physical development, and generally includes capital construction projects or equipment purchases greater than $10,000 and having a useful life of more than 10 years. Okay, the purpose of the 6-year CIP budget, it's a focused review of future major capital improvement projects. It's intended to provide the City Council with direction on these proposed projects. It allows for a systematic evaluation of all potential projects at the same time. And it assists with coordinating all city projects and those of other public or private entities. If we can put in sewer and water lines when a road is torn up, it's more economical for everyone. Also to enhance the transparency and accountability to our citizens. And finally, it matches anticipated spending and revenue. How the 6-year plan was developed began in May and June. We began the annual strategic planning. This is where department heads are putting together their wish lists for the coming years. In June and July, the mayor had developed a project request template and asked department heads to complete one for each project that was on their wish list, basically discussing the timing of the project, the cost, and a detailed description of what they were asking for. Throughout July, administration reviewed and prioritized these project templates, and that kind of gets us to where we're at today with presenting and adopting the capital budget. A couple of highlights there, as the mayor said, that the capital improvement program is a fluid document and guide, and basically only looking for approval of a 1 year, 1 year at a time. The subsequent updating of the CIP program involves repeating these steps as necessary to reflect recent economic and environmental conditions. So all these projects cost money, and until Mary Morgan can decide how to plant money trees, we have to come up with a way to fund them. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dan, and he'll take it from here.
Okay, the big question, how do we pay? Basically, three ways are the primary three ways are bonding, general fund transfers, and the oil pipeline terminal tax. As you can see, the three primaries, meaning bonding, transfers, and oil pipeline terminal tax, make up approximately 89.4% of the total funding for this project, the capital improvement program. Other sources are miscellaneous income, which is primarily derived from three areas: SAMP, fees that are charged for the mitigation credits. We also have the leases out at Barker's Island, land leases, the golf course, the boat, what is the boathouse right now, restaurant or was, and the charter fishing docks. And then we also have property sales, trade-ins on the equipment that we are disposing of, interest income. Also, animal shelter capital campaign is one integral part of this progress, especially for one specific project within that. And then the excess of revenues over expenditures from the general fund, which we're estimating at $352,000 in 2012. And then the final component is transfers from the library fund, which cover their repayment of our expenditures made to the library. Any questions? Okay. Laid out another way on this sheet, we have to kind of emphasize in a percentile as opposed to the dollars, the percent that each makes up for the funding for the CIP program. So you can see that bonding is going to make up 41%. Again, transfers in the general fund, 24.5%, and the oil pipeline terminal tax at 23.9%. Uses of the CIP funds, and they'll cover all the various aspects of the city, from public safety, parks and rec, street repair and maintenance, library, museum, animal shelter, and streets and sidewalks. This slide will show the estimated spending based upon the major department divisions projects that are going to go on for each of the 6 years as planned right now. Just in a nutshell, info technology software, that's an upgrade of the financial software within the city. We're looking at changing software along with the county. Entrances to city to make the city more, a person's first impressions as they come into the city of Superior will be more favorable, hopefully more welcoming. Fire department, I believe that is a fire truck. We have for the police department 9 squads, I believe. Parks and Rec has a couple of items in there. The big one is the animal shelter at $2.5 million. And the next biggest, or actually the largest, is Public Works projects, and that's primarily concentrated on infrastructure within the city. Again, laid out in a percentile format, you can see that Public Works does make up the lion's share at 76.62%, a little over $24 million out of the $31.6 million CIP program. Any questions? Okay. And what we've done is picked out the 13 major capital projects that we have planned or have been planned to go on. And those 13 make up 92.6%, or a little over 29 million of the 31.6 million. Let's see. If we go down, and we had picked the general street maintenance as one of the ones to kind of capitalize, being that it was the largest project that's going to be going on for those 6 years. And you can see with our hot mix, asphalt, gravel, and curb work, which is an investment in our infrastructure, fixing up the roads. And that's at a little over 8.6 million. And then we have some engineering and miscellaneous contractual design work for 600,000. Our road salt, sand mixture, and that depends a lot on, we budget for 1.5 million for those 6 years, 250,000 a year. Again, that depends on our weather conditions up here. If we get by and get a year where we don't have a lot of snow and ice, we can save a little money in that area of the CIP project. And then we also have the crushing and recycling road materials, which is reclaiming some of our materials and reusing them again. Now, for cash flow, as you'll notice...
Hey, Dan, I'm sorry, just a question for you. I noticed on that last slide, everything remains constant as far as costs through the 6 years. Is inflation in there anywhere, or are we, or, you know, is that considered in any of those, or?
Right, I guess it really shows up a little bit more with the hot mix and asphalt, where you can see that with the projects, it does go up and then as it ebbs down. So we're trying, it says the oil is going to be the biggest thing with hot mix. That's anyone's, you can throw it your best guess, but it all depends on what happens, and that's part of the reason why we do, like now we're doing that 6 year, doing it with a 6 year program. The council looks at each year individually and approves that as we go. But it's a plan. It's, if you will, it's your best guess at what the future is going to bring. And there's always change that occurs. A new project may come up that's really needed, and then it'll bump out something else potentially that was in the mix before.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Finally, with the cash flow, what we're trying to target, and you'll see the pink is the expense, blue is the revenue, and you'll see the very first year, 2012, well, we'll have more revenue than expense, and then that tweaks out in 2013. But then once we get into 2014, we're still kind of on the bottom side with our expenses are coming up higher. And what we're trying to do is only borrow what we need to borrow to save on interest. And then you'll see that in 2015, if you recall, we're going to be borrowing an additional $5 million for the project. And that's the influx in cash that'll bring us right through to the finish if everything goes as planned. So, any questions? Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Just more of a analogy than anything. Our equipment requests, we need to be a little bit more savvy when we're purchasing equipment for Public Works. I know for a fact that one of the last loaders we bought was because we were replacing an older unit, and there was only 2,900 hours on that motor of that loader plow, and it had the original tires on it. And if we're trading in equipment just to upgrade, I think we need to look at, get into the fleet manager, have a meeting with him and see what the criteria is for what we're doing. And this is coming from the employees at the Public Works, that we're buying equipment just to buy equipment. And with the expenses that we're looking at over 6 years, wear and tear, yes, but just to upgrade, to say we upgraded, I think we need to be a little bit more careful of that. We could save a lot of money by, if a motor needs to be rehauled, a diesel motor, we can do it for less than $5,000 rather than going to Nortrax and just saying, I want that beautiful new shiny cat. So, just an observation.
If I may suggest that when we do go to purchasing of any equipment, we bring it back to you for an examination and evaluation of what it's going to be replacing, and evaluate it at that point, one at a time, or when they come up for purchase. I agree with you.
Mayor, could I just add a comment there? Councilors, we do have several criteria. We generally weigh them on age, hours on the equipment, if there's excessive repair costs, if something as a lemon has gone bad. I'm not sure what happened with that unit in particular, but those are generally the criteria we do weigh. So we can certainly bring those back, as Mayor just mentioned.
Thank you.
What we would ask at this point is if you would like to discuss this further in committee for 2012 or 2012 and beyond before you come to conclusion of recommendation or approval. We're very pleased to do that so that you're comfortable with what the plan is, or if it needs to be altered to adapt to some of your interests and requirements. Councilor Brown.
Yeah, that's quite a bit to digest in one short meeting, so I would recommend that it does go to committee and we have a better chance to discuss it. Thank you.
You've heard the motion and second referral to the committee of the whole, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 8.2, Mayor Hagan is requesting to hire James Caesar as a consultant to assist in current outreach and discussions with industrial and business clients.
We've had some, we've had some discussions together on this matter. We are fortunate at this point to be able to have a number of deep conversations, meetings with some business industrial prospects. And as it's been stated in a number of meetings, it's got to be relationships first and outcomes second. I think we all agree with that in any walk of life, any phase of our life, any business status we have, personal relationships come first. And it's come to our attention that Mr. Caesar has some deep relationships with larger industrial commercial communities. And what we're asking here is the opportunity to contract with him as a consultant for 2 years to work with us, and Jason and I and yourselves, as well as the administration, with regard to some opportunities that we believe are quite promising. So I ask for your consideration on that.
Second.
Motion and second. Councilor Bridge.
I'm just curious if these specific projects don't come to pass, if we would still retain Mr. Caesar's services for the remainder of 2 years, or?
Right. The contract will state that the contract may be terminated at a 60-day notice by either party. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Business by councilors. Dan?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment here, and it's been something that's, I think everybody knows how I feel about it, but we approved in the consent agenda tonight Terry Collon's raise and the steps that go with it. And we've had the ongoing issue of compaction, and we didn't follow the compaction here. So I think it's another reason to look at this. We're comparing the union rates with the non-union, or let's just say bargaining and non-bargaining. And I fully support what we're doing for Terry Collon, but we are getting away from the issue of compaction. And what if down the road we start running into department heads that's saying, you did this for Terry Collon, why are we not doing it? Frank, I'm going to use you because I'm looking at you. Why don't we do it with the city attorney? So we had brought this up a few months back, and I would really appreciate if somehow we could get together, address this compaction issue, because if we're not using compaction to the fullest extent, my opinion, we don't need compaction. We do performance reviews, salary computations, however it may be. And this isn't downplaying anybody's capabilities or what they do for this city. I think everybody does a great job. But pretty soon you may have to worry about the unions coming back and saying, well, wait a minute now, this compaction could reverse. And then you're going to have a union issue with arbitration and all kinds of potential stuff. So if we could somehow in the near future address this in one of the committee meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to make that a referral right now, Dan?
Yeah, I suppose we could. I'd like to refer this to Human Resource Committee.
For the motion, a second for referral, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Item 10.1 is resolution providing for issuance and sale and delivery of $6,800,000 taxable general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2011A.
Finance Director Vito.
Thank you, Mayor. We have the sale today, and I have good news, and this is on the 5 previous debt issues that we talked about that we were refinancing. The interest rates have come back better than we anticipated, and we had a lot of interest in our bonds. Six organizations bid on our bonds, and the lowest interest rate came back at 3.48%. And so the actual future savings on these will be around $726,000.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Your motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Discussion? Before we vote, I want to thank Jean Vito for the excellent work she's doing every day of this week and every day of the year, and pulling everything together that we have before us. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
10.2 is a resolution introduced by the Plan Commission setting a public hearing to September 20th to vacate North 52nd between Cumming and Stinson Avenues, a portion of Baxter Avenue between North 52nd Street and 53rd Street, and a portion of an alley located between North 52nd and 53rd Streets in Cummings and Baxter Avenues.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
10.3 is a resolution introduced by the Common Council concerning the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, CMAR, for 2010.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
10.4 is a resolution introduced by the Community Development Division to set a public hearing to September 6th to approve the 2011 to 2015 Consolidated Plan for the Community Development Block Grant Program.
Is there a second? You've heard the motion and second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 11.1 is ordinance introduced by Public Works Committee amending City Code Section 58-13, small commercial premise pickup, increasing the fee for the fourth container to $50 effective January 1st, 2012.
What is the pleasure? Heard the motion and second to approve. Discussion? Councilor Herrick.
Yeah, just one of the things I want to bring up, the reason why we did this, get some feedback here, is normally the fee, I believe, was $32.50 prior to this time. And what we're hoping to do by this is that we figure that 3 garbage cans is enough, especially if people are recycling. So our emphasis is to get these people with fourth cans and so on and so forth to look more at recycling rather than just throwing everything into the container. So that's hopefully one of the deterrents that we can get them to recycle. So I just wanted to elaborate on that. So.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
11.2 is an ordinance introduced by the Planning Department to amend City Code Chapter 122, Special Uses, to allow transitional housing in a residential district.
You've heard the motion in multiple seconds. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 12.1 was a presentation regarding Superior Young Professionals. Is anyone here to speak for that? Doesn't look like it.
We'll refer that discussion to the next meeting. I did meet with them, and they had a great dialogue and discussion, and we look forward to hearing from them. Oh, I'm sorry.
That wasn't added to the consent agenda.
Councilor Olson.
I just have a question. When we referred capital improvement to the committee of the whole, is that the meeting 2 weeks from now? Is that the date we're going to use, or further on down?
Correct.
2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further business to come before this body? You've heard the motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.